Good evening. It is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? No, it's Wednesday, March 27th. And welcome to another Lounge Lyme. I'm Coleen. And yes, we are streaming live on various platforms. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on IG. Anything you go to that says Reggae Online, we are there. I am really, really happy. Usually we say we are honored. I'm absolutely happy to have our special guest this evening. It's still afternoon here in Jamaica, by the way, or is it evening now? It's 6 o'clock here, it might be 7 o'clock where Michael is. And Sharon, you're actually in Jamaica.
Yes,
Welcome home.
thank
Sharon
you.
Marley is here with us, A Life in Music, and I have to share this. I knew Sharon first as perhaps the best caregiver in the world. I met Sharon because I had a baby, and Sharon actually had a nursery, total care, and my little Kai Kai would cry a
Yes,
lot, and she would take the best care of her. I swear by that. If ever she were to open another, I can tell you, take your babies there. She
thank
is a
you.
natural caregiver.
Thank you.
Sharon, I wanted to just say that because I think I wanted to share just your humanity first,
Thank
your
you.
kindness, the way you care about people, the way you share your humility. So thank you so much for being on this
Thank
platform with
you.
us this evening.
That's the main reason I said, whatever Colleen asked me to do, I will do it because you always remember um, that kindness that was shown to you. You always remember. Some people don't remember, you know. So I appreciate you for that. And
Thank
I
you.
think I think how old was Kai? She couldn't be
Like
more than
7 months.
baby.
Starting at seven
No,
months.
she was one of our youngest babies.
Yeah.
So sharing is caring, and it's always good to give back. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, give thanks. I know we are here to talk about your life in music. So the first thing I want you to share with us is what was it like growing up in such an iconic, influential musical family?
It was pure music. It was a lot of music for breakfast, music for lunch, music for dinner. You know, we used to put on little shows downstairs in our basement for 5 cents. The helper would pay, our neighbor would come in and pay. If we had friends visiting, everybody would come in and pay 5 cents to get in, and we put on a show. We acted, and then we change, and then we sing, and then we do solos, and so it was always music, between both parents.
What age were you when you started singing?
Jeez, I would still have to go back, because like I said, we were doing it from long time. In terms of professionally now on stage, I would like to say when I got back from Canada after Bob passed away, I was about 16,
Okay.
15, 16. So that was the first time now that we went professionally on stage, with Ziggy Marley and the Melodies. Yeah, but it was long before that I was singing. Adele and I used to put on Solet's old furs and old clothes, and we would do our own thing in the middle. We were singing from Tiny Tots. It just came naturally for us, I think.
And when Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers started,
Yeah,
um, what
about 15.
you were
About
15.
15. Don't age me
What?
now, Don't ask me what year.
No, I will not ask you what year.
Okay.
I will not even tell them what birthday you
Right.
celebrated a
Thank
couple
you.
of
Thank
years ago.
you. Thank
But
you.
I know that being a child artist is can be challenging for some. How did
Yeah.
you balance still probably going to school, taking all of that academic work seriously, but at the same time being around, going on stage,
Yes.
especially in the family that you grew up in?
Well, our mother made sure that we had a tutor on tour with us. So after show or before the show, before sound check, we would be doing schoolwork. So we had to pass our test. If there was a big exam coming up, we would not be allowed to go on that particular show.
Mhm.
So school education came first with our mother. That was vital.
And at sometimes when we see people on stage, we just see glam. That's what we see. What can you say to a young artist or someone who is interested in music about preparing for stage? How much work goes into that for
Well,
you?
it takes a lot of discipline for one. It takes a lot of discipline. It's long hours rehearsing. Because if you want to have a good performance, if you want to perfect your task, you have to practice it, right? So there was always a lot of intense rehearsing for hours and hours. So be disciplined, be ready to put in the back work. It's
Hmm.
not just the glam and the lights and you have to own your craft. We went to voice classes, we did voice lessons, as Nadine remembered at the Kurika Award the other night. She mentioned that we had the
Yeah.
same voice teacher, Miss Faye Enova. We did music, we did piano. So we had the solid background
Hmm.
that needed for us to be professionals on stage doing what we do. Patsy Ricketts also, she was our dance teacher because every Saturday we went to the Cultural Arts Center to do our dancing. So we put in the work. It's
Yeah.
not just glamour and glitz, it's discipline and hard work.
And good preparation. I watch Grub. Grub Cooper is actually at the Edna Manley College now
Hmm.
doing teaching. And I
Yeah.
watch him with the students. What was it like working with Grub
Can you imagine?
as a
Oh my
child?
gosh. I always tell people Grub was like a slave driver. Seriously, he wouldn't give us no breaks. We had to sing over and over and over. Ziggy them used to beg with him. Like the other day, he reminded me, Ziggy them used to malice me sometimes because I keep them in the studio from the football or the whatever activity they want to go and get involved with. They had to stay in the studio and stick to the task. But now, in hindsight, we are so grateful for that pressure that God put us under because that still holds us till today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knowing how to breathe, knowing how to hit the proper notes, knowing how to harmonize, bringing out of your voice what you did not even know you have. So
Mhm.
Grub is now a part of my solo performing. He
Right.
sings background vocals with me
Oh,
on
wow.
interview. I'm going to sing. Yeah, man, I can't leave out Grubs.
Wow. Sharon, the first thing when somebody sees a Marley, especially a Marley who would have been around Bob Marley before he passed, they are going to be naturally curious about what it was like growing up with him as a child. What was that for you? I noticed you said Bob. Did you always call him Bob?
I do. I think most of us call him Bob. Most of the children call him Bob. Maybe when he was around, it would be more Daddy. But I don't know if it's out of respect or just out of him being larger than life. Why the term Bob is what we use mostly, you know,
Hmm.
because for people, Daddy is your
Yeah.
personal, but Bob is for the world. So we can't even own him like he's ours anymore. We have to share him with the world, and again, we didn't realize that till we were older, you
Yeah.
know, that we were really sharing him with the world because he was just daddy at home. Then we get punishment, they take us to oopsie doo when mommy, whoever is punishing us after the punishment, he's the one that always say, you know what,
Hold on, Sharon. Before you're
buy
gonna
ice
further,
cream.
what's Oopsie Do?
You don't know. You didn't know
No,
Oopsie
ma'am.
Doo was an ice cream place in, I want to say, South Plaza. Is that the plaza name? Of South Avenue.
Oh, wow.
Might not be there no more. This was donkey years ago, mind you.
Well,
Again,
clearly, because me
again,
don't know
I'm
about no
aging
Oopsie Do.
myself. Again, I'm aging myself. Oopsie Doo. was an ice cream spot. I'm almost sure they also had hamburgers and French fries. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
but that was a treat, our treat, coming from Bull Bay to drive all the way to South Avenue for ice cream. That was a big deal. See somebody, Michael Sean Harris, come say he used to go to Oopsie too. Yeah, man, Oopsie was a real place. You see, just like how you have Devon House now, back in the
That
days,
was one
was
option.
Oopsie.
Wow. Wow. No, you
Yeah,
can continue. I just wanted to know what in the world.
it was a real place because it meant so much to us to go to that place that it sticks in my mind. You know,
Yeah.
that was a big thing when everybody come going in the van we go Oopsie. You know, so you would treat us like any other parent would do.
Who
You
was
know,
stricter,
mommy,
Rita or Bob?
mommy, mommy was the disciplinarian. You know, he was always the one that taking up. You know, taking up. But all he had to do was give you the look. You never need nothing more. Then you start crying when you get the look. You know, you definitely know what that means, and you'd immediately start to cry. I never do anything or whatever. But mommy was the real disciplinarian, and the balance was good, because he respected anything your mother say. That is what it's going to be, you know.
Mm.
So as a parent, I mean, we couldn't ask for a better father. You know what I'm saying? He took the boys. Well, the boys always get to go with him. They go to the museum. They went to Zimbabwe. They go on stage with him. But we know what we as the girls get is when he comes home now and he wants to strum a little at the guitar and we say, "No, come sing," you know. So we would go and sing the little parts with him, So it was a mixture of all those things that helped to make our family a tight knit family.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. I,
See
if
somebody
one
else they trust can come
long
on and
time
say,
I don't hear and say I hear
"All
about
right."
oops
So you
do.
see, it's not in my
You're
imagination.
you're not the only one who is aging yourself. But there's something I admire about the family is that the family looks together. It's like a tight
Yeah,
knit
yeah.
family. Cousins, brothers, sisters, everybody seemed to. Was it always like that for you when you're out in Bull Bay?
Oh, yes, it was the key because remember, this is where we lived when the assassination attempt happened. So, after that assassination attempt, now we were basically sheltered after that. We weren't allowed
Mm,
to have friends, we weren't allowed to go out, we weren't allowed to go to parties or, I mean, that was the time Bob said to us, "Look, you have enough brothers and sisters, you don't need no friends." And that's
wow.
basically how we grew to be like that.
Yeah.
We became each other's friends, only friends, so it was more than brothers and sisters. These were our playmates. We were each other
Right.
playmates, and so when Rowan and Robbie and all the other kids who would come over, these would be okay, there are more friends coming over, but it's really our brothers and sisters. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always been that way with us, though. Even when we first started to go on stage, I mean, you can see shows with Ron on the stage, shows with Damien on the stage, I mean, shows with Julian on the stage. Everybody just pack up and we roll. That's how we roll.
Have you ever considered establishing your own, what I should say is, how do you balance your own identity, your own sense of identity of who you are, and navigate carrying on a Marley legacy at the same time?
See, that took a while for me to get my own identity because,
Mhm.
again, how we grew up, we didn't grow up separate or
Yeah.
thinking we are different. you know, we grew up like one unit. So that sense of being separate didn't come until way, way, way later in life when the group kind of went their own different ways. That we actually probably that is the time that we would say, okay, we are in fact different people,
Hmm.
kind of thing. And then for a while, it was like we never got grips of it, you know. A matter of fact, after we disbanded, I think people like to use that word. Not even sure what it means. I think it means not being a band anymore. But
You're not together
after we
anymore.
went right after we had that happen, then we went into different things. Then we knew that we had other potential. There are other things that
Yeah.
we could actually do, you know. So Della went into designing. I
Mm,
studied the Montessori method, became a teacher. I mean, the fact that the boys are still musicians don't mean that they don't do anything else. There are other things that they do. You know, Ziggy writes children books. I mean, Steve has always been into the production of music, but no, he's
right.
going into other things. He's bringing in the THC and the CBD. So there are
Mm,
other things that we are branching off in now, that when we were growing up we didn't even know we had those capabilities, you
yeah.
know. But we're still living the life as one. We're still a unit. We're still promoting our family. We're still showcasing the the enormous responsibility of being a part of this family. You know, we're not just
Yeah.
sinking off into our own corner. We're still a unit, you know?
Yeah. And I have to say, I always say there is always a model about how a musical legacy is built. I personally give all of the credit without apology to your mother for building that legacy, and that, you know, we remember Bob's name. Sometimes I wonder if
Yeah.
we would if she weren't there. Um, how do you
I
feel about
agree. I agree because, you know, I said they were children when Bob passed away. They were only 35. All of my children, my mother was only 35, he was 36. And all of my children are at that age, you know. So that's when I realized that, wow, this was really a baby. You know, for years, we all were nervous about getting to 36, you
Oh
know,
wow.
because we were like, okay, this number here, we are always aware of it till now. I'm not gonna say we're way past it, but we came to that number, and we passed that number. And so it's still shocking that how did mommy manage to do this at only 35 with
Hmm.
5 children? You know, how did she manage? She had to make sure we eat, sleep, had shelter, go to school, still did our after school activities. And it wasn't just us five. No, she had the other children, a part of our family. And
Hmm.
she mothered everyone. She mothered everyone and made it look easy to boot, you know?
Wow. Um, how do you feel about her own career? Did you think she made any kind of sacrifices of her career for family?
Of course she did. Of course she did. Let me tell you, my mother has been singing from her eyes at her knees, basically, you know? And she had her own group. She she sang her own songs. She has a big catalog herself, you know, a big catalog of music. If you really do the research, you will see Rita Marley has a big catalog of music. And even when she started to tour with Bob, she still put her music on hold. So it's like she
Hmm.
put her music on hold twice,
Yeah.
you know. And I feel like that sometimes. I feel as if I put my career in music on hold when my children were born, because that's one of the reasons I was like, you know, this tour life, I can't manage it, because I had the children on the tour bus. They were coming out of school, they were being kept out of school to come on the road with me. There were times, I mean, all my money went on long distance telephone calls to make
Mm.
sure the children are okay when I was on the road. So it wasn't easy raising children while you're having a career like music that takes you away from
From your
home.
children.
And it
I,
wasn't easy.
It's a good place to go for a bit because we have so many women in the industry, not just people who are artists, but just people who are involved in the entertainment industry generally. What's it like, or what was it like for you as a woman on a tour? You have a stump and bus long too. What was it like for you, and what were some of the struggles you encountered?
Let me tell you, my biggest struggle was living out of my suitcase.
Mm,
That was a big struggle for me because I could never find anything. And then it was always have to be in a rush to go to sound check. Then when you come back for sound check, you have to hurry up again to go back on stage. And just a suitcase thing. There was no drawer to say this go there, that go there, and you know where everything is. It was always digging in the suitcase. Where is this? Where did I leave? I left that at the last hotel. Lord of mercy. It's a fast
mm.
paced life, you know.
I
So
actually never thought about something as basic as living out of a suitcase. And when you
yeah,
think about, for those who are just joining us, welcome to the Lounge Live. We're with Sharon Marley, who is just talking about her life in music. I think she was born in a musical family, so music has been her life. For those on Facebook, whether you're on Facebook, IG, YouTube, we give thanks for your company as we take this journey.
yeah.
um, People who are calling me on my cell phone, I cannot respond. I want you to send your comments in the chat so that Sharon is able to respond to it. Sharon, what probably for you, we were talking about your mother, her mother, Rita Marley. My favorite Rita is Jaja. Um, and it's almost, for me, it's always when I pause, I say Jaja. And
Yes,
I close my eyes to listen to that song because sometimes we just have to be so grateful that Jaja take us through everything.
yes.
When you are writing your music or when you're making music, what are the things around you that really inspire what you say?
Everything, everything inspire me when I sing. I'm not a big writer. I mean, over all my years, I've probably written 3 songs. You know, I'm not a big writer. My son Ingmar is my writer now. He's
Hmm.
writing for me on my new album that I'm putting together for early next year. But I am inspired when he gives me his lyrics. I do embellish them. I do add a little bit of me in the song, and everything inspires me from a little butterfly to huge sky. Everything inspires me. A small baby's cry to the power of the marching drums. Everything inspires me, and that's why I want my music to be more intentionally this time around. So I'm going to be recording to the love frequency, which is 432 hertz. All my music will be done at this frequency so I can share my voice to others in a way that it will soothe them, soothe their souls, bring peace to them, peace that they can make with the next person, and know that love, it doesn't have to be love for a man or love for a woman. Just love for yourself and love for each other is truly how we're going to move forward as human beings. So my music is greater than me at this point. It's about a purpose that I believe in. I might not be
Mhm.
able to go to war and fight, but I can do it through the sound of my voice. So
What
I'm
do
being
you want?
purposeful with my music.
Thank you. Give thanks, Sharon. What do you want your music to do now? In this time, what need do you think the world has that you are going to make your music do?
I just have to, when persons come to me and say, "Oh my gosh, I felt that song in my soul. It moves me." When person come and said, "This butterfly song get me through a very hard place that I was in my life," and just hearing that song brings me something, whether it's hope or ease to my distress, or that's what I want my music to do. You don't necessarily have to get up and dance and relate to it, but it's for the inner reflection.
Mhm.
It has to be for something more than dancing, you
I
know.
notice your brothers tend to do over a lot of your father's music. So
Hmm.
they do a lot of Bob songs over, and we come to expect it. Do you ever consider that?
How consider it how as if
Consider
I want to
you
do my mother's
doing a
song,
cover?
of
Yes,
course.
any of you.
And I also consider of doing over some of Bob's songs myself. I might do over one from my upcoming album. I just have to choose one of Bob's song and one of Mommy's song, because I always have to pay homage to where I come from. I have to pay homage to my parents and my brothers and sisters. I have to pay homage to that unit. So I might also do over Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers song.
Nice.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I'm getting a question from a Donette Zaka. Donette Ingrid Zaka is a wonderful photographer, especially with taking Jamaica's landscape. How do you feel about the survival of Rastafari beliefs in these changing times? Is one love going out the door? One love still here?
Ah, good question. And my replies are personal replies.
Mm.
I'm not speaking for my entire troop, but for me, one love is one love is lost. When I see the state of the world right now, and not only Jamaica and not only Rastafari, just the state of the world, it's
Yeah.
devastating. The love is gone, and if we're not careful, we're going to self-destruct. you
Hmm.
know so, and this is why I want my music to be purposefully done at the love frequency, because we have to bring back the love. you know we have to bring back the love in whatever way we can, whatever culture we are from. It doesn't matter, because I think we are all of one blood. When you cut us, we don't see Rasta bleed out in our blood. We don't say Catholic bleed out. We don't say no other religion bleed out. We say red. You understand? We need the same thing to survive, which is oxygen,
How do
right?
you feel
That's the
about
first
Rastafari?
way. How do I feel about Rastafari?
Mhm.
I'm a Rastafarian. I grew up Rastafarian. I couldn't pierce my ears till I was 18. I couldn't wear pants till I was probably 19,
Adults, you know?
because when we were performing on stage, we started on stage in skirts and dresses. Remember, I
Mm.
don't know if you recall so early melody makers, but Erica and Sidella know what I'm talking about. We started out in dresses. We couldn't wear no pants on stage and all of that. Till later down, we were like, guys, this dress thing not going to work. Not if we have to put in the work that we need to put in, that we feel is coming out of us to get our
Mhm.
message across. We can't just stand up right here and be all petite. And the I trees did it. They did a good job. Well, that was their generation. Our generation needed to do it in a different fashion. And I think the next generation after me will come again with a different fashion of getting their word across. So I am not into the judging people like that. I
Mhm.
am I am really into the one love.
Yeah.
I'm really into the one love for all nations, all cultures. Um Rastafari to me is the only thing I've known. I've observed my mother. I take my lead from my mother, you know, and she still say Rastafari. We go to different churches around the world. Because remember, you don't have Orthodox churches all over the world. Sometimes
Mhm.
they're
Yeah.
far away. So we go to a Baptist church down there so sometime, or we go to another church down there so sometime, and we still praying to God, to the Creator.
Yeah.
No matter what you want to call him, if you want to call him His Majesty Haile Selassie or Jesus Christ, or you know whatever you want to call him, is the Creator. to me, and the way I see my family program themselves. We were baptized in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which is a Christian church,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which, as you know, they get the fight because um, locks are not supposed to be worn in the church. Locks are only supposed to be worn by the high priest up in the mountains. We go through all of that and we find there's so much tension and struggle because we're watching with the outside eyes, and not watching with the far eye, which sees beyond all of what the outside looks like. So I'm firm in my belief,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm firm in saying I've been a Rastafarian from I born. I go to Naya Bingi when I am 10, up all night,
You
Naya
know, me just gonna ask you
all
about
those
Bingy.
things. Say again?
I was just about to ask you about a Bingy.
Yeah, man, I remember those things, Sister Judy. Um, what's her name? Ayana, I want to say. Can't remember her name. But I remember certain sisters there with mommy, Sister Minnie, Sister Eleanor, with Naya being there, fire, drummer beat. That's why the drums to me speaks. I can't listen, I can't even play drum because I know it's gonna take me to that spiritual place. And that to me is coming from my experience going to Bingi. When they start to beat the drum, is a whole, you're gone, the hypnotized by the drum. I get easily hypnotized by the drum because of this is the state we were in at Bingi. We go to a different place, so I am firm in who I am. I know who I am.
What is your favorite memory or perhaps your most memorable moment on stage? And I'm talking, if you can think back to Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers time. And then I want you to share one of your favorite memory or your most memorable moment as a solo
Oh
artist.
boy. Let me tell you something. I don't remember everything. Sometimes I come off stage and people are like, "Whoa, oh, you reach up there so weird." I was like, "What?" Don't remember nothing about what happened because, as I said, the music takes you away. The
Mhm.
music is so spiritual. It takes you away, and sometimes I don't know what I do, or I just know I am doing it, and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it. But I do remember one night. I don't remember which song it was. And at the end of the show, Erica end up on the stage under Ziggy's legs like this. And we are like, okay, what's happening? But it's the
She was
music. It's the music. And we're dancing and the end of the song. Erica end up between Ziggy's leg on the floor. Like Ziggy's standing up like this and Erica's like that. I'm like, okay. So I remember that. I can't remember which song it was that we were doing, but we would often go out of choreography. Cinderella would be livid at us, you know. But when the music hit you, you don't know what's gonna happen. So I remember that. Most recently, boy, let me tell you, I had this performance at the AGO in Toronto. That's my first time intentionally performing solo. It was
mm,
about 200 people, a nice intimate setting. And my nephew Kingcroft, he lives in Canada. He says, "So auntie, you going dance tonight?" I said, "No, sir." And I don't do that kind of dancing thing anymore. And so help me God, when I went on that stage, I find myself doing the moonwalk. And when the show finished, him come back to me and say, "Auntie, what happened? I thought you said you wasn't gonna do all of that." you know but then again, when the music hits you, anything can
anything
happen.
happens.
Anything can happen.
What's the project you're working on now?
I'm working on a few projects. last year I started to do a radio show on the Tough Gong Bob Marley radio on Sirius XM. The name of the show is In My House, and it basically plays music that I listen to in my house, which varies from gospel, rhythm and blues, of course, reggae, um, rock. These are all things, DJ music. These are all music that my children and myself listen to at whatever time in my house. This is the kind of music you will hear in my house. And so I built the radio program based on music that you would hear on my house,
Right.
discussions that you would hear in my house, things that we talk about in my house, so that's the name of the program that I do. And we did over, what's the name of those girls that did In My House? In My House. I think it's Mary Jane Girls. I think so. Sidel and I did over Mary Jane Girls as
Mm.
the tag for the In My House radio show. So I'm inviting persons to listen to In My House on Bob Marley's Tough Gong Radio, Sirius XM. Every month, it can come anytime. I announce it on my Instagram page
Right. Thank
when it's
you.
going to be aired. So that's one project. I'm very excited about that because now I'm going to open it up to invite persons to come in and speak to me on various topics. The first one is going to be for Autism Month in April. We'll be speaking a little bit about autism and how, how does it affect a parent to recognize this illness. I
Is
don't know
there is
if I want
is
to
there
call
a
it
reason
illness.
why you are? Is there any particular reason why you are considering discussing autism?
Yeah, there's a lot of reason I've considered. One of my grandchildren is autistic, and to add to that, I had an experience with an autistic child that I'll never forget. It was really shocking, life changing experience for me, and I think I'm ready to talk about what it is like. How do you recognize it? What do you do about it? Um, the future of children with autism.
The
So it's
future
been
of the
something close
parents
to
who
my
are
heart.
parenting those children.
Oh, yes. And there are adult, successful people who've had autism. The same with bipolar. A lot of mental illnesses are hidden simply because of how they were dealt with in the past. Children with these mental differences were placed in a room in the tower, locked away, or sent away from the family to be locked away somewhere. So I just want to open that conversation about um, mental issues, including because autism is really a brain issue, like any other mental health issue, like depression. I myself suffer from depression, and it can leave you immobile. I've
You
had to
usually
work
suffer
hard.
from depression. Like
Oh,
somebody was just
something
saying,
like like
she,
like I was gonna say, like I said before, some things you don't discuss because of the, what's the word I'm looking for? What goes with it, the way people think about it. You don't talk about it,
Mhm.
but they're real things, and I don't see why we shouldn't speak on mental health concerns.
Yeah,
It's not anything to be ashamed of. Um, how you work through them is definitely something that I would like to share. The stigma,
mhm.
thank you, Michael. The stigma surrounding mental health. It's just like you to have heart health
Yeah,
or kidney health, you know, it's just mental health. It's swept under the rug so much that nobody, like you just said, how you suffer from depression? Yes, honey. It's not easy. Some days I just don't want to get up out of my bed. So by the grace of God and my my connection to my spirituality, you know, it's a struggle from any one day to the next. So in April, we're going to be speaking on a little bit on autism. Give my 1 2 cents on it, and
You,
pay some attention to it for April, which is Autism Month.
my consideration for you, or my suggestion, to think about how your music could work in those spaces as you do work with
Mm-hmm.
autistic children, as you address the
Right,
issues,
right.
and even for
I'm going to
depression.
get
What
deeper
can,
in it. I'm going to get deeper in it because I found that music has helped me a lot
Mhm.
with my um, depression, and my self care, because it's not all the time you're going to get help from outside. You have to know how to help yourself, whether
Yeah,
it's going for a walk, doing exercise, resting. Resting is so important because your brain don't always have to be going. Sometimes you just need to do nothing. I've several tricks I've learned how to help myself to move on, you know, out of sometime when you get into the slump of depression. It's really hard to get up. And when I see people really go to the edge and go over, because of the stigma. It's so unnecessary because there are ways that you can get help and help yourself. And like I said, this love frequency is definitely, I became familiar with the whole frequency because of my depression. Someone told me there's a frequency for depression, and where you go, whatever megahertz it is, there's a frequency for not being able to talk up for yourself. There's a frequency for love. There's a frequency for anything that bothers you. There's a frequency for it, they're on YouTube.
yeah.
So this is how I first got in touch with frequencies because of my depression and
Mm.
trying to heal myself. Thus comes the love frequency, which I now want to share with the world, you know. So sharing is caring. Remember, always start the conversation
How we started the
with
conversation. Give
caring,
thanks, Sharon. So
So the next project I'm working on is, of course, my album and my Gone Gal brand, right? This stepper track, I started the Gone Gal Entertainment brand, which speaks to me as a strong, independent, roughneck. Sorry.
and I quite like who you collab with for
First,
Stepper.
first stepper. Oh yeah, that's my uncle Big Youth. My uncle
Yeah,
Big
man,
Youth.
big youth
And
is
so
the
this
youth.
song is also in the love frequency. So I hope people feel the love in it. And working with Big Youth, oh my gosh. I love that. I love that man. I didn't know that he was such a comedian.
Oh yes. Well, you
I
see it in
didn't
I'm
know this one.
Walkman.
I I did
See it in
not
I'm Walk.
know
See it in the colorfulness of the clothes that he chooses to wear.
I did not know he's hilarious because I remember him when I was a child. He used to pick
Mm-hmm.
me up from school on the bike. The first time I go on the bike, I burned my foot. So that's how I draw him out. I said, look, if you don't come sing this song, I'm going to tell everybody that I burned my foot on your bike. And so it was years ago that I remember Big Youth from. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time passed that we don't link up. So this
Yeah.
time now in my adult state, because he didn't want to do the song and I'm so we can the love song with Cher. Cher, look at Cher. So I just said, come on, uncle, get over that. This work we're working, you
Yeah.
know. So it's a blessing to see. And when he came on the set and we were laughing, just a pure joy. It never even a pretend. It was just him. It was just him.
Being his
He's a
authentic
blessing,
self.
man. I love people of that age because They teach, they have so much information.
And they don't care anymore about the opinion of the world.
They don't.
It's a
And was
lesson.
the first gold teeth, front teeth, Don Gargan that I knew. Red, gold, and green. Yeah, man. All my respect to Big Youth, man.
Man, give thanks. Big up yourself, big youth, if you're listening. Sharon, I know it is 45 minutes in. She said 1 hour too long. We're at the
Yes, I
45
was watch all
minutes.
too
Can
long.
you,
I sure did.
before you go though, I really want to ask you about One Love the movie. I did see at the premiere, so I know say you watch it at least once. You probably watched it before that and again after. How did it make you feel?
Well, can I tell you, I watched it once and I don't think I can watch it again because it was just
Mm,
too emotional for me. It was too emotional for me. And, let me tell you, I was not with Bob when he passed away. Everybody else were, all my brothers and sisters were there, but
mhm.
I had left to go to live in Canada for a few
Right.
years with my uncle. And last time I spoke to Bob on the phone, I said, Mommy say you're sick, you're not well. She said, no man, not my gosso. All right, man. I said, well, I'm saying Psalm 96 for you, you know. And that like I wanna say 4 weeks after that conversation, another evening I'm coming home from school and as soon as I got through the door, my cousin handed me the phone and it was my sister, Sedella, and she said, Daddy gone. That I tore up all of my uncle's house that night. And so when I see these things, it bring me back to, sometimes I can't listen to Bob music, Sometimes I can't listen to it because music is so powerful for me. It brings me back to that place. So I have a favorite song I listen to is Jump Naya Bingi, because it's a up song. Love to see when you groove with the rhythm. I love to see when you're dancing. I love that song, you know. So going to the movie for me took me back to a lot of different places. Seeing Ben, which is what Ziggy introduced him to us as Ben, embody Bob's persona, personality. I was trying to find a fault. I was really trying to find a fault, and I basically couldn't. It was a lot. I remember the first time he came on the screen, my mother wailed because you felt like this is Bob. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking, you know. So I saw the movie once, and that's good for me. Um, because the place that it brings me to, I get vexed with the people who try to assassinate my parents, and I feel like I want to fight and the whole thing, you know. But it was a great movie. I think they did a great job. Kudos to Ziggy and the rest of the Paramount team. And of course, the Ritamale movie is going to be next. So yeah, I'm sure we're going to feel the same way when we see somebody bodying mommy like that. Because to people, he's an
They go
enigma.
audition for it. Just saying.
Okay, I know. I know, and I'm going to encourage you. I'm going
I
to
will
encourage you.
audition. But yes, I wondered about it. I wondered when I saw your mom coming through.
Yeah,
Um, I heard her in the room. So I know
it was a lot.
it
Very
can be a
emotional.
lot.
It was very emotional. And if strangers who see it can be led to tears, can you imagine us that lived that whole life? You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
What are you most grateful for as we wrap?
I'm grateful for life, you know, and I'm grateful for my family because it didn't have to be this way for me. I could have been in a different family. But God saw it fit to put me in this family, and I'm grateful for that, and I will forever give him the glory. Like you said, thank you, Jah, for what you've done for me.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for.
So that's another nice Rita that I have. Thank you, Jah, for what you've done for me.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good
Love
one.
that
Yeah.
one.
You've thanked Sharon. It
Amen.
has been our pleasure. Thank you for
Oh,
sharing.
already?
In an hour yet, you want to stay for the hour? Can we have 10 minutes more up to the hour? I was
No,
I
man, I
was
think I
really
think the people have had enough of me now.
I was
Anybody
giving you
asking
your
me any
45
question.
minute request.
I don't see anybody asking me any questions, so I think everybody belly full.
Well, I look forward to seeing you at the fireside
Yes,
tomorrow
I.
and
Yes,
just wishing you all the very best on all the projects to come. You know that you can. She did tell us what's next, Julia. We got a mouthful. She said, "What's next for Sharon Marley?" She
well, Julia already know that Stepper is now. Stepper is now. Stepper, from Raga tell me run with Stepper. That Stepper have more stepping to make. You know.
tell you, I'm so much of a ragga fan. I
I
feel
know, right?
embarrassed, how me frightened when me see him. Like I
He
don't know
must
what
tell
to say
you.
most of the time.
I love my baby brother. Like, I still think he's my baby brother. My mother calls him Teddy Bear. He's so sweet. And people ask me, who do you think you want to do? All the people in the world that you think you would want to do a combination song with, or whatever is that word they use, collab. I said,
Well, give thanks to Rita. Rita is saying more music, same
oh,
frequency.
look at my little baby sister. Love you,
We
sis.
are
Kiss
on
mommy for
we are
me.
on the
Kiss
frequency.
mommy
Give
for me. I
thanks
hope
for
mommy is watching
harmony.
it. But I
And
tell
for
them,
those,
Raga, I would love to do a collab with Stephen Robert Nestor Marley one of these days.
yes, I look forward to that. I want to be in the studio when that is happening, and I want to be on the tour when that is
I'm
going to
going to
be
give you a
performed.
special invitation.
Give
Okay?
thanks. Yes, yes, ma'am. I look forward. Thank you for joining
Oh,
us on Reggae Online,
thank you
whatever
for
platform you
being.
chose to join us on. Michael, make people MC and say hello. Michael Sean Harris, my brilliant, brilliant friend and colleague who
Thank you,
left our
Michael.
shores
Yeah, man.
for
Thank you for being here.
greener but colder waters. And we had, of course, Sharon Marley just talking to us about her life in music and her life in general. Wonderful soul, fabulous
Thank
musician,
you.
beautiful woman. We really love you, Sharon. Well, I do.
Thank you. I
And we give
appreciate it.
thanks for sharing space. We catch you next time on Lounge Lamb. I don't know. Oh, we're going to match this. We're going to get a Marley. Yeah, if we're going to give me Raga, Sharon. That's a promise.
Ooh,
Please tell Raga that somebody want to talk to him for 45 minutes.
I will. And he'd love to come on, I'm sure.
Yeah, man, give thanks. Thank you so
Yes.
much, everyone who joined in, and we will see you next week.
All right. Well, good.
Yeah, man, bless and love.